Okay, so I'm Jo Hertzberg and I'm the founder and director of the Real Junk Food Project Sheffield.
Okay, so how did the Real Junk Food Project Sheffield start?
Okay, so we started in 2015 in May, I think it was. I had been looking for about a year for something different to do because I'd worked in the travel tech industry, so a bit of a corporate job, and it was all kind of leading to me going to London to kind of for the next step in my career, which after kind of much kind of searching I didn't really want to do. So I've been looking for about a year for something different, and I actually read about the Real Junk Food Project in Leeds on a Saturday afternoon. I think it was in the Guardian, and yeah, from there I just thought that's absolutely what I can do. I thought I've got kind of the marketing experience to start something like that, and I've always had a real passion for food and cooking. So yeah, for me it seemed like kind of the stars had aligned and it was something that I could get involved with. So yeah, that was 2015, and the actual Real Junk Food Project as a whole, so it's a network of projects around the UK and some globally, that started in 2013 in Leeds. So yeah, by the time we joined, that was 2015, I think there were about 90 and now there are 126. Yeah. Which is mad, yeah.
Imagine it kind of helped like having the sort of starting point, like having the name around for 2 years already, and then by the time we started it's just sort of another branch, I guess, that kind of.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was really good to be able to just look at what everybody else was doing kind of around the country, because it's really kind of a set of ideas and principles about using food waste, reducing food waste, campaigning about it, and also using the pay-as-you-feel kind of payment system, so it's open access for everybody. And having a look at what they were doing, for example, in Brighton, in their kind of weekly pop-ups, what they were doing in Leeds, they had a cafe already. I was able to kind of gather different ideas just from looking at, say, their Facebook pages. And also I got given just an information pack kind of reiterating all the different things that were happening around the country and just things that everybody else was learning, really, and went from there.
How have your expectations compared to reality?
Well, I wasn't sure what to expect at first, and I think the project was a lot better received than I thought it would be. There were so many people interested. The minute I set up a Facebook account and a Twitter account, it was just, you know, followers were just going up and up and up, and I was getting contacted all the time by the press, the local press, and yeah, I set up a few public meetings, like kind of drop-in meetings, just for anybody to come along who was interested in what the Real Junk Food Project is, and to see if anyone else wanted to get involved in kind of helping it run for the first few months. So yeah, that was kind of better than I expected. Yeah, it's gone a lot quicker than I expected as well, so I suppose we thought we'd set up some pop-ups, monthly pop-ups, which we did, and they were really kind of fantastically attended and, you know, great kind of buzz about them. But from that we realised that actually we weren't making a great impact on food waste, because a once a month thing doesn't really do anything sustainable or daily. So from then on we knew kind of we had to scale. So I suppose the difference between kind of doing an event and what it meant to scale the project was something that I hadn't really considered and was, say, way out of my depth really, in terms of, you know, how do you get a warehouse? Like, how do you run a van every day? Things like that. So it was definitely a steep learning curve.
Nice. Do you ever get used to the level of food waste you come across, or does it still shock you?
It does still shock us, me particularly. I think the stuff that we see every day, like we get between 4 and 6 tonnes a week, and you can kind of expect that, you know, but at the start of this year we got offered 50 tonnes of frozen cherry tomatoes, which we just couldn't even imagine. We were trying to work out how many pallets that would be and how many pallets fit in the warehouse, and we wouldn't have even been able to fit it in the floor space of this 5,000 square foot warehouse. So yeah, that was really shocking. And occasionally we'll just get, you know, 600 or 800 litres of milk one day from one of our retailers, and you just think, oh wow. Yeah, so no, you kind of you don't become too comfortable with it because there's always something around the corner that is going to surprise you.
I feel like that would kind of help as well to keep the project going in a way, because if it became normalised, then it wouldn't be sort of as urgent, so to speak, but then something else comes along and you realise how shocking it is again, and it revives that very much.
Yeah, it does, and because we've got like a great social media following and the public are really engaged and interested, whenever we post something like that, it goes wild, you know. People will come. I think the first day we opened the Share House Market was a Christmas Eve, and everybody was coming down in their pyjamas and things because we were posting on Facebook as it had a real problem happen with the ordering of their kind of turkeys and ducks and things, so they had way too many left on the end of Christmas Eve, and that took us all by surprise. But luckily, because we got a following, we were able to say, guys, this has happened, it's Christmas Eve, come and help us use it before it gets wasted. So everybody did.
What's one of the main problems you came across running the project, and is there a way you've overcome it?
Main problem, I think at the start we ran on a lot of kind of goodwill and excitement, and you know, everybody wanted to do this amazing thing, but then when it turns out to trying to do this amazing thing every single day, not everybody is able to commit to that voluntary and to keep it going. So a lot of it fell on to me in the first year at least, to do all the driving rounds, getting the food, managing volunteers. When we opened the cafe, I was doing 16-hour days as every single role in the project, so that was really, really tough, but kind of learning from that and putting a lot of systems in place and kind of knowing our own limits as well has definitely been a learning curve.
What's been one of your favourite moments from the project so far?
I suppose I've liked some of the things we've been asked to do. For example, I think a couple of years ago now we were asked to cater for the tramlines crew, their staff crew, kind of behind stage, and that was just so exciting for us to be able to, be recognised by a really kind of strong Sheffield festival as someone who could do that. That was fantastic. And I suppose another great moment was actually our 3rd birthday party last week. Like, seeing everybody there having a great time and knowing that they were all kind of there as part of this because they believe in it, and it's such a diverse group of people, so yeah, that's been a really good moment for me.
Especially because the mayor arrived.
yeah, when Majid arrived as well, that was super exciting for everybody.
What's the strangest thing you've received from food intercepting?
Now let me think. We've had all sorts. I think probably, I want to say we had a load of, it's kind of from a whole food distributor or wholesaler, and there was a lot of kind of, they're really good quality ingredients, but kind of raw cacao, and cacao butter, which was fantastic, but unless you've got a lot of other ingredients to kind of do things with it, it was a bit like, whoa, what are we going to do with all of this? But we're still using it now actually, so yeah.
It's just, how long ago was that?
That was 2015, yeah, it's still going now, and there's still a few bags down there, so occasionally we get chefs in who really know what to do with it, so they're like, oh, this is fantastic. So yeah, that was pretty strange, and I just think like the volumes of, say for example, we still occasionally get frozen deliveries from the place that had the issue with the tomatoes at the start of the year, so we had frozen orange segments, which, I didn't even know that anyone would freeze those or that you would buy them frozen. That was completely new to me.
I saw a lot of people took them off you and started making smoothies and everything, especially now in the hot weather.
Yeah, exactly. There's marmalade going everywhere.
What big goal do you have in mind for the project?
Well, I think now we're in our 3rd year, we're definitely at a more stable kind of point where paying the bills every month isn't too taxing or worrying, so we're kind of getting there. We've got a good team around us, so I think for the next year it's going to be about just kind of looking at what we're doing, getting that all working properly, And also kind of looking what more we can do with the food. So whether that's kind of turning into making products, for example, could we be doing more like dehydrating bananas into banana chips, that kind of thing. So that's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment. And I think we'll probably have to look for a new warehouse premises as well, because at the moment this place is up for lease, but we can't afford the actual going rate of it, so yeah. So that'll be the big things we've got coming up in the next year or so, I reckon.
Very nice. Well, that was my last question, so unless you want to say anything else.
No, I don't think so. No, just thank you for listening.
Okay.
Thank you.